Hey guys, here's a video just to run through all of the everything that we did in the training over the last few weeks. I've tried to just compile it into one video with everything in there. Okay, so first of all, we'll just start with our positions. We have our target, which is our forward position, our two flankers, which is our wings or our mid positions, and we have our pivot, which is our back position, obviously, as well as our goalkeeper. So what we're doing is that we're really moving back to that diamond shape or that diamond formation that we used to play with. So some key points, or just a summary of key points, is that in our attacking position, we're using a very wide diamond. And this just allows us to have more room in the middle and for us to be playing the ball and to be moving into positions in the middle. The pivot is way at the back near the goalkeeper, the target is way at the front, and the two flankers are literally on the edges or standing on the lines of the field. When we're moving into a defensive position, we then move to a narrow diamond. So you can see that we're much more compact in terms of our diamond, but we're still keeping that same shape. Some other tips: when we're stopping the ball or trapping the ball, we need to stop with the sole of our foot because that gives us more control. And when we need to use our body more to shield the ball from the opposition. So that also kind of ties hand in hand with stopping the ball with the sole of your foot. You then can sort of lean on the opposition or the defender a little bit more, just to give yourself a bit more space. When we're passing, we need to deliver firm passes with your instep, so the hard bit, of our foot, or sort of at the slight back hard bit, knobbly bit of your instep. And when we're passing, we need to pass accurately 2 feet. So balls to be passed on the ground, unless going for a shot. But we really need to concentrate and focus on delivering firm passes and passes along the ground, and really accurate passes. And by doing that, that's why we need to really focus on our technique or our passing technique. Okay, so starting with playing from the back. So when we start playing from the back, we need to, let's say that the ball goes out, a player needs to go and retrieve the ball, and it should be a player other than the goalkeeper. And the reason we do that is because once the goalkeeper has the ball, she's only got 4 seconds to release the ball. So let's let someone else get the ball, and that allows us to move into position. So when the ball goes out and it's our kick in from the goalkeeper or throw in from the goalkeeper, we say spread, and that is the key to move into this very wide square shape. So the pivot and a flanker goes to the back lines, and a flanker and target go to the wide edges over the halfway line. So there's really a lot of space here in the middle. We're assuming that our opposition are going to be in the middle here marking up. So in this first play, or play one, and I think we should be playing this one most of the time, is that the goalkeeper would gently roll the ball on the ground to the player on the black line. The player with the ball aggressively dribbles the ball into a central position, and the other 3 players move from a square to a diamond position. So just see that again. The goalkeeper rolls out gently to the flanker or the pivot on the left or the right. That player with the ball aggressively moves into the central position, and everybody else moves into their diamond shape. Okay, so play 2. So this playing from the back is if the opposition plays a full court press. And a full court press is when the opposition is really pushing up on these 2 players. Let's say they've sussed out our moves and they're going to put 2 people here. Then the goalkeeper needs to think, well, where am I going to throw the ball? So in this instance, the goalkeeper, would obviously throw the ball to the middle because that's where all the space is. So the play is that the goalkeeper would roll the ball on the ground to the target, or the flanker, whoever is on these sides, through to the middle. Then the players on the back lines run down the line as the forward with the ball, or the person with the ball, passes the ball to either side, whoever's in a better position. The team at that point then moves into a diamond position. So just seeing that again, goalkeeper rolls through the middle, one of these 2 forward positions moves in to retrieve the ball, and then they lay the ball off left or right to these 2 players running down the middle. And the other position here moves into that central forward position. In terms of kick-ins, so again, the player retrieves the ball and holds in her hands until all players get into position. With kick-ins, it's always going to be the flanker and the pivot controlling all the plays as they stand next to each other. And the key is that we really want to try and keep the ball on the ground. We don't want to do those just giant kicks unless we're taking shots. So, whether it's the pivot and the flanker on this side, or the pivots on this side with the flanker, it's always going to be the pivot and the flanker who is controlling that play. The opposing flanker is on the far wide line here, and the target is always going to be mirroring the ball. So they're going to be standing down the line from the ball, so down this sort of channel. So in this instance, the first play is that the flanker gently rolls the ball with foot to defender. So we don't want to do a hard pass, a pass in the air, just a gentle roll with the foot back to the pivot. The pivot then takes a shot. Now, in this instance, the flanker has taken a run to the back post, with the purpose of taking a defender with her as the pivot shoots. So here again, the flanker to the pivot. This flanker here is going to take a run to the back post, hopefully taking a defender with her as the pivot shoot. Sorry, that's the old one. Go again. So flanker to the pivot shoots, and the flanker has gone to the back post. Play 2 is the 1-2. So again, we've got the ball. We're going to call, okay, we're going to play 2. And the play is that the flanker again gently rolls the ball with a foot to the pivot. The pivot passes back to flanker, and the flanker turns and shoots. In this instance, the target might run to the back post just to be there for any kind of missed opportunities and missed goals. So go back again, flanker to pivot to flanker to shoot, target to go to the back post. So that's play number 2. Play number 3 is that the flanker passes the ball to the target. The target is standing down the channel again, the target back to the flanker, and the flanker shoots. You can see in this instance that this opposing flanker, the flanker on the other side, on our team, is running to the back post again to clean up any missed opportunities. Okay, for corners, attacking corners. So we have 2 plays here. And again, the same system applies. The player retrieves the ball and holds the ball in her hands until all players get into their positions. And then the corner kicker will decide whether we play 1 or 2. So she'll say 1 or she'll say 2. Now for play 1, the positions are as follows. So there's the corner kicker, which will probably be the flanker. There's the target, who should really be at the back post. There's a pivot and there's a flanker here. So, this person needs to be very wide out here. This person needs to be down that channel, and this person needs to be on the back corner. So in this play, the corner kicker kicks the ball to the pivot as the pivot's moving forward. Now this kick needs to be accurate, it needs to be close to the line, and it needs to be on the ground. Easy for this person to take a shot. Then that pivot can take a shot into goal. Now, the target is there at the back post waiting for any missed goals. I think it's also important to note that, it doesn't really matter who's in any of these positions. It's just that someone to get into those positions. Let's not worry if this is the flanker, or if this is the pivot, or if this is the flanker, or if this is the pivot, or if this is the target. Just as long as we all get into these positions, we'll try and remind each other to get into, the positions that make more sense at the time. So for play 2, again, the player would say, or the corner kicker would say 2, and, would hold on to the ball. When she's ready, she'd put the ball on the corner, waiting till we're getting into position. Now we'd get into the same position, except this person who was over here from play 1 would move much closer to this player here. So they're kind of, close to each other. And in this play, what's going to happen is that the flanker or the corner kicker is going to kick the ball to this player here, the pivot. This person is going to call for the ball and make a dummy run or a J run towards the goal. So everyone thinks that this corner kicker is going to this player, but it's really going to this player. So it would look like this. Corner kicker passes to the pivot as the pivot moves into position, and this flanker would have moved or done a J run or a dummy run. She'd say yes, 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 calling for the ball, and then the pivot would have got the ball and taken a shot. Again, target is at the back post waiting for the missed goals. See that one again. So corner kicker to pivot. This flanker here has made a dummy run to the goal, target at the back post, waiting for the missed goals. Okay, so defending corners. So here we position ourselves in a Y position. We have two players at the front, a player in between, and slightly behind to form like a V shape. And then we have a player at the back post. So what we have here is a Y. So when we concede a corner, the goalkeeper or everybody should yell Y, and we get into that position. We then look around to find a player that we will mark once the ball's been kicked, because we get in this position initially, and then what we need to do is press on those players with the ball. So let's say the opposition players are sort of spread like such. We'd get into our Y position, we'd then pick a player and say, well, I'm on this person's on that person, that person's on that person, and that person's on that person. So you get into position and then look around to see who you can mark. Once the ball's being played, then you would then start to press on whoever's got the ball and try and stop them from shooting. Okay, so kickoffs. The target and the flanker is positioned on the halfway line. The other flanker is on the far wing on the line, and the pivot is at the back. Pretty simple play. The target gently rolls the ball forward, not kick. It could just gently roll it, with the sole of her foot to the flanker. The flanker passes to the pivot, back. Once the ball has been kicked to the pivot, everybody spreads out and moves into a diamond formation. So the target would then move forward and the flanker would move to the opposing wing, and now we've got our diamond shape. See that again. Target to the flanker, flanker passes back, pivot has the ball, and everyone moves into this diamond shape. Okay, so defensive structure. So position in a compact diamond to protect the middle. So we talked before about attacking being wide. Defensive needs to be a really compact, tight diamond. And we're going to move in a unit to block the passes through to the target. So let's have a look at it with defenders. Let's say that our opposition team are in a wide diamond. The pivot, our pivot, will stay very close to the defending target. Our target will sit off the defending pivot, once, we're in this half, but when we get over the halfway line, then this person needs to really press on that defending pivot. The weaker the player, the more you can press that player, the better the player. You need to kind of hang back and just sort of, give them a bit of space. So in this move, the flankers move left to right in alignment with the ball to block the passes to the near player and through to the target. So let's say that the ball goes to the left here, then we then need to, as a unit, move over. If they go, and what this does is it prevents this player from passing here, and more importantly, passing here through to this player. It does give them an option to pass to here, but that's okay because this person we're seeing is not in any initial dangerous, in a dangerous position. We don't care about this player. Once this player thinks, okay, well, yeah, I'm going to move over and pass to here, that's when we all move over. So we're just moving kind of left to right in a really tight diamond position. And as they get over the halfway line, that's when we start to press on the players. Okay, with our attacking play, so, we'd use this situation when either we're playing from the back or from kickoff. So when we're playing out from the back or kickoff, the end result is always that we've moved into this diamond shape. Now with this play, the pivot has the ball and passes to a flanker. The flanker has to move towards the ball to ensure that the opposition does not intercept the pass. The opposing flanker here moves into a central position to provide an option for the flanker with the ball. So this person could pass back, could pass here, or could pass here. In this instance, the flanker is going to pass down the line to the target. Now the target's always mirroring the ball, or mirroring the player with the ball. So she was in a central position here. She needs to move down the channel, down the line, to be in alignment with that flanker, with that person with the ball. She then lays it back to the flanker, and then the flanker can then shoot. You can see here that this player has moved from here to here to here. Really important to have someone at the back post again to clean up any missed shots. So we see that again. Pivot to the flanker. This flanker moves in here. Flanker to the target. Target back to the flanker. And the flanker takes a shot. Okay, so that's everything that we learnt, and hopefully that will give us a bit more of a head start when we start the season. And you know, if we just can start with the basics first and then build from there, I'm sure that we do well.